Welcome in, everybody. Yes, the team is rolling. Yes, the team is undefeated. We can just talk about the win column. It keeps increasing. The loss column stays the same at 0. Excited to be joined by two of the biggest pieces for the team's success, the offensive line. We got Zak Zinter. We got Trevor Keegan. And this is the Lab. That is the Leaders in Best presented by Champion Circle. Please make sure you go check out championcircleufm.com to support your student athletes. That's the world we're in. We're in the world of NIL. We are in the world where you can help the team. So Champion Circle U of M, check it out. And check it out especially because, guys, hell of a game last night, Minnesota. Night game, prime time, on the road, playing for the jug. What's that like, a trophy game, a night game? Can you guys kind of give the fans a perspective of a road night game where you're waiting all day for the kickoff and then you finally kick off and you get rolling the way you did? Could you kind of both lead us in? What's that game like?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just adds an extra element. You're under the lights, the fans are going crazy. And then the way to start it off like we did, defense gets a pick six on the second play of the game. I mean, you really can't ask for a better start to a game, really, that I can think of, and especially being a trophy game under the lights. You got all looking good in the all white. So I mean, it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, like Zach said, I mean, for me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of night games because I don't really enjoy just sitting around the hotel all day. I kind of get kind of groggy. But for me, with the jug and the night game elements, like once I see the stadium, like off in the distance, we're on the bus, and seeing the lights shining, I just go full lock in mode. I feel like it just adds an extra element, that just gets the juices flowing.
There's some about those crisp, especially this time of year where it's getting a little cool. You'll see the steam come off your helmet, the breath coming out of your mask. Like the night games are just, it's nice for us bigger dudes too. Like we get sweaty. I like the cool air, and it gets cooler at night. You mentioned something real subtle, and this doesn't apply to you guys because you guys are pretty lean, but it's the white jerseys. And this also doesn't apply to you guys because there was no penalties. But I was friends, one of my buddies, a couple of my buddies played O-line, across the Big Ten, and some of them in the NFL. They said in the white jerseys, if you have a penalty, the camera's going to pan on you. You got to suck in, right? You got to suck in, right?
No doubt.
See, that's a thing then.
The skill guys look good in all white. It's tougher for us O-linemen and bigger dudes, but I never thought about it that way, but it's definitely something we should consider in the future.
I had a penalty against Nebraska 2 years ago. I watched TV copy, and it zoomed in on me just gut, just like this. In the huddle, like just dying of breath. I look like a slob, so.
Okay, so maybe the lesson learned. Like if you get this is your chance to flex the traps and suck in, blow up. Yeah, exactly. Maybe get the side angle to the camera. You guys look good though. I mean, completely tatted up, right?
Yep.
Trevor, I mean, maybe the best eye black in college football. Is that a point of pride?
I haven't ripped it this year yet. Have
you not ripped it?
No, I haven't ripped it. I'm waiting for not like a big game, a really big game.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it.
Okay. Where did that start though?
So I'm a huge fan of the Joker. The Dark Knight was my dad and I's favorite movie growing up. And it was a spring ball, the spring game where everybody's just throwing their swag on, the eye black.
Yeah.
I'm like, screw it. I'll just put it on like the Joker, and it kind of just stuck with me. I gained 6,000 followers after the spring game, so I was like, sure, I'll keep riding with it.
No doubt. And Zach, you got inked up this offseason, right?
Yeah, I finished the sleeve off. Had a half sleeve last season, but finished the sleeve off. I'm not nowhere close to what Trevor's got yet, but I got at least one sleeve now.
Yeah.
Is there anyone on the O-line that isn't tatted?
Yeah. There's actually I think there's a lot of guys that aren't tatted on the O-line. Carson's not. Drake is not. LD doesn't. Miles just got a tattoo. Trente got one. Gio has one.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Our whole defense is tatted, though.
Yeah, whole defense is tatted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it gets even cooler when they're just like suffocating everybody they play too, right?
Yeah, I think the only one who doesn't is Chris Jenks.
Yeah.
Jenks
doesn't
that
have
dude
them.
with double sleeves out there.
KGF tats?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Chris is the mutant, so like he's allowed.
He doesn't need tats. He's intimidating enough.
Yeah, he doesn't need much.
Well, this kind of leads me into my next question because this is cool. This is cool to talk to you guys, and it's cool for the Michigan fans to hear this. I'm sure it's not the case for you guys, and maybe this is a bit dramatic, but every team I was on, like the O-line, carries a negative stigma. But like the O-line rolls together in a sense. Like you guys are kind of like you have to. No one gives you the credit. No one gives you the shout out. So you guys just kind of put arm in arm and you move together. Is that a fair statement in a sense? And then off of that, I was wondering because I know our O-line. I was like, man, I'm sure there's a couple dudes that got a tattoo together. They were like, hey, if we can do this, we'll get a tattoo together. Like, first off, just if you can answer, I'll have a follow up. Is it fair to say the O-line is kind of cliquey? You guys roll together?
Yeah, I'd say we're pretty close. Maybe a little too close at times, but I'd say we're pretty cliquey in that room.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely all close. Like, it's definitely like a brotherhood in the room. But like, I feel like we do a really good job of incorporating like other position groups, with our jokes and stuff. Like for instance, like away games, we always sit at the back of the bus and like try to get all the skill players. And like we're like ripping like would you rather
crazy would you rather are going on back there.
And like some of the dudes like, oh, like what are you guys saying? Like just out of pocket stuff, and it just kind of breaks the ice with everybody and gets everybody comfortable.
That's the reaction you're kind of looking for anyways, right? Like, yeah
definitely.
Yeah. You want to see where the line is, honestly, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's good though because I'm a tight end, so of course we were like the bridge between the O-line and the skills. But I would always say like click is not a fair word because of the stigma it carries. Brotherhood's more fair, but really you guys are like the foundation of the team because you're easygoing, you're lunch pail, you're hardworking, you play injured, you get beat up, and then you get to bring them to the back of the bus and say, hey guys, like I can hang with you guys, I'm a little bit fun, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just ask this too, because I'm obviously just raving about offensive line, but I think about, what it means to be an offensive lineman for every reason we just said of just, it's a thankless job. It's a dirty job. It's, it's just such a unique position. When I was in 6th grade, before I played tight end, I would play guard. And then when they'd run Y pop, they'd put me to tight end. And I knew very quickly there, I was like, dude, F this. Like, I do not want to play O-line. I want to catch passes. But then you got guys like you who like me catching a pass is like you guys putting someone on their butts. Like, when did you know, when was it O-line to you? When did it become clear, if you guys could both answer that, you wanted to be an O-lineman?
I think God chose for me to be an O-lineman. When it's little league and you got like that red stripe on your helmet that says you weigh too much to touch the ball. That pretty much meant I was going to be an O-lineman, and I just accepted the role and just rolled with it. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I was always the fat big kid growing up, and then in 8th grade, I hit this like big growth spurt. I was like 6'6", like 240 in 8th grade. So I was like, and I could fly.
That's
like,
tight end.
I could fly. Like I could scoot. And it was like, oh, you're gonna play linebacker and tight end once you get. So I started doing that. We were doing like 7-on-7s over summer I was on varsity doing like drops at linebacker, and I've never even heard of that in my life. So like it was terrible. It was awful. Then one day, buddy, you're back on the O-line, and I gained like 65 pounds my freshman year of high school. So it was kind of just meant to be.
I want to see some film of that, dude.
Dude, it was like 4 plays and got yanked immediately.
You didn't like moss anybody? You didn't route them up or anything? Or did you just pancake them? Like you're running a stick route and you just like knock them on their ass?
I never even like ran a route at all my whole life until that moment. So like I had no idea what I was doing, but it was pretty bad.
Maybe Sharon will hear that. Maybe Coach Moore will hear that and like, all right, maybe we can do like a fake power like guard screen. I don't want to reveal the secrets, but maybe.
Well, you've gotten better in 7-on-7s that we do every Friday. So I mean, you've definitely improved since your 8th grade days, I'd say.
More of a quarterback than a tight end for sure.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a shotgun or are you an under center because you appreciate the art?
Depends who's at center.
Good answer. Good answer. Well, alongside that is okay. So of course, God chose you guys. You had to be O-line, right? Just the sheer size. But that's only part of it. There's a lot of big dudes that don't become nasty, violent, physical offensive linemen. That part where it clicks for you guys, where it's like, okay, yes, I'm big, but I kind of like burying somebody. I kind of like it when I'm putting someone on their back. When did that click for you guys?
I mean, I'd probably say it maybe I'd say a younger age probably, but then I want to say high school. I don't know. My head's like, I know Trevor be saying the same thing. Like, you go out there, that dude mom is in the stands too, and you're burying him right in front of his mom, and it's I don't know, dude. It's like messed up. There's something messed up in my head probably when I'm like saying that, like embarrassing him in front of his mom. But
Football.
yeah. What do you say?
That's football.
Yeah, it's football. I mean, I don't know. There's something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, like for me, like growing up, so my dad was like a huge Bears fan. So like the '85 Bears, like that's all he ever like grew up talking to me about was like Wilmer Marshall, Mike Singletary, Dick Buckus, like guys like that. My dad just like always loved people who hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad loved Ray Lewis, like guys like that. So like I've always just like loved hitting people. Like I don't know. Like I don't know.
Smash.
I just like
hit people.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into this. But Zach, alongside your point, it sounds messed up, right? It's like, yeah. But you risk that as well. Like that's the risk you take on a foot. Like sometimes listen, no matter what, we're all gonna end up on our back at some point, right? We're all in your mom's in the stands. We're on the wrong side of that. We're on the right side of that. So if that's potential, might as well try to be on the right side of it, right? Like
you don't want to be on the wrong side, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zent's either absolutely destroying somebody, just absolutely like planting them, or Zenter's getting planted. Like he just sells out no matter what. Where like for me, I feel like I'm like kind of like just get the block. Like if that makes sense. Just get it done. But Zenter like just
I've got caught off guard a few times, got hit pretty hard, not gonna lie, but I mean that's part of the game.
Yeah, look,
you're gonna take some blows, or you're gonna deliver something.
Exactly.
Hopefully, you're delivering more than you're taking.
And exactly, if you're like 90-10, like your success rate, maybe it's even higher than that, right? Like you got a high success rate. All right,
you guys have gotten lucky, but not many.
What's that like though? What is that feeling like? You get the inside hands, people inside hands, like. If I'm outside hands and you're in my chest, you got me lifted up. I know I'm going backwards. What's that like when you have that moment of control and you're like, yeah, I'm about to bury this dude right now?
I feel like it's kind of like a giggly, funny feeling. Like, I got you, I got you now, buddy. Like, I'm about to bury you.
Yeah, it's cool when you do it against somebody who's like the same size as you, because like. If you plant like a safety or something, like for instance, like against East Carolina, I pulled and the safety just wasn't even looking at me. I just obliterated him. I was like on top of him, like talking, smack to him. He's like, "You can't say that. You're too fat." And I'm like, dude, you're right. You're actually right on that one. I'm sorry. I apologize to him.
Yeah, like there's levels to it, right? Like that's kind of like that's like a gunshot. Whereas like jujitsu, it's different. Like you're locked in the cage. Like if it's you versus another D lineman, you're kind of locked in the cage together, and it's like, all right, me versus you. Let's see. Like you get a secondary guy, you kind of have to, right? You kind of have to bury him. But when it's a defensive lineman, what's the difference then too? And I just, if you guys could be descriptive, because Michigan fans are probably as good as anyone at watching the offensive line play, because you guys do it so well. But there's such a nuance to the position where, hey, sometimes you're one-on-one. Sometimes there is a guy that maybe it's a 3 tech, and that's your guy all the way. The tackle and the tight end are working together, or the center and the guard are working together, your backside. Sometimes you got a deuce. Sometimes you got an ace. Sometimes you got a double, right? Like sometimes you're working with a B, and you guys are in the double team. What's the difference then, really, when it's you versus Chris Jenkins or anybody? Name your name, a 300-pounder versus when you can kind of high shuffle and hit the hip and climb. What were some of the differences between those techniques?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is, like, if I'm going against Chris Jenks at a 3 tech, I mean, I got to get 2 quick steps in the ground, get my hands inside, and try to stay balanced and drive my feet. Whereas if I'm doing an ace with Drake at center, I'm just unloading on KG's hip, trying to send him flying and climbing to get Junior and locking onto him, where you got to be a little more under control when you're going against Chris Jenkins, so he doesn't swim you or push pull you, where KG's kind of focused on Drake at center, and you can kind of just unload on his hip, and he's not expecting it and be able to climb to Junior.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like involved in it. I mean, obviously, like what technique they're in, and then depending where the linebacker is, that's going to tell you everything you know about your block, and if they're a high pressure team or if they're a low pressure team. So like if they're a low pressure team, they're not going to move, and that you have a combo block and the dude and you're the trail guy, that hip's just going to be there, so you can really unload on it. But like if it's a high pressure team, you really got to get your feet in the ground, and you're not going to be able to really knock the hip as much, because if you fully unleash on it, there could be movement, you could get off track. So, I mean, it really all depends on where the linebacker is and like the amount that they pressure. So that kind of is the big thing for me.
Beautiful. Because there, again, we talk about stigmas. It's like, hey, big guys, like, hey, big brutes, like, just go hit them, right? But it's like, man, there is a case to be made that the offensive line, more than any position, requires a high IQ. I actually think there's a study too of like quality offensive lines have like they have high Wonderlic scores in the NFL because of the required intelligence. You say that so effortlessly, Trevor, that it's easy for the common fan to misunderstand what you're saying, right? So let's just, if you got ace, deuce, tray. Ace is the A gap, center, guard, ace, double team. Deuce, the B gap, the second gap, guard, tackle. Tray, the third gap, tackle, tight end. But what you're saying is those are double teams up to a linebacker.
On the backside.
And those guys can bring pressure. And pressure, just if you could expand on that concept, like, what does that mean? Why does pressure affect your double team? And how does that affect your role?
So, like, for instance, like if we have like a gap scheme, right? And you have your gap. So if we're usually pulling or we run duo. So, I mean, either one of those things. But, if you get pressure, it unlocks the double teams most times. Or you got to do like a double team on the move, or you have to slam back, or, you have to Dallas it, which just brings everybody down the line. But or the flow of the linebackers, that if they're a hard flow team on motions, like that changes everything too, on how thick you got to be, how loose you got to be. Like, for instance, like Minnesota, we knew that they played a field under, which means they had a G and then a 3 tech to the boundary. So for us, if we had like an inside zone play side, and we're A'ing up, like an A would be a combination between Drake and I up to the front side linebacker, and the front side would be Fanning, so they'd be money. So, like, for me and Drake, we couldn't really get a good A because the front side linebacker was plugging backside A gap so quick. So we had, like, our combinations weren't as thick as you would see. Like, we didn't get as much movement because the linebacker was coming down so quickly. If that makes sense.
Probably doesn't make sense for most people. Probably does. It's a foreign language. Like what you just described is a language that you guys all agree upon. And when you say that, Zach, that makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Everything
linebackers falling back quick, you're not going to get a good double team.
hey, Dallas, like hey, break the deuce with the Dallas. You think it's a deuce, but if you know that you got to break the deuce with the Dallas, right? Like that makes perfect sense to me. For the person that's listening to this, it probably doesn't make sense. Maybe it does, but really what you're saying is it is a agreed upon language, and these terms all have a meaning, and everyone has to agree. Hey, field and boundary, what does that mean? Oh, well, the ball's on the left hash. The right hash is the field. Oh, they have it's a field under, right? So what'd you say? Like there's a nose
to the shade field. 3 tech 5 and 5.
And the 3 tech is shaded on you, Zach. If it's a left hash, he's on you, right?
Yep.
And the 5 is back on the tackle. Like we are effectively communicating a language that might as well be Spanish to some people. Yeah, it might as well be.
And the crazy thing is, like Minnesota, they played our heavy personnel so well, where they're a heavy spot team, heavy fallback. So, for instance, if we have a motion, our combinations are working to a spot. And for them, they didn't even have a safety rolling down into the spot. They just had a safety in the box. So they would have both safeties downs on like 13 or 12 personnel or 21. So like that took us for a while to get used to. Like most people like don't realize like defense are going to throw everything at us to stop the run. Of course. And like the first, half is us getting used to what they're doing. Like people don't realize like they change it up completely just against us. So like we got to get used to it. And like adjustments.
They have to. I mean, what you just said makes perfect sense to Zach, to Nugent, to Barnhart, Ladarius, whatever. Like you guys are on a different operation. That's why you've been back-to-back Joe Moore Award-winning offensive line. And again, so you're saying block to a spot, right? So you have a double team. Can you even explain what does that mean?
So, I mean, I guess the easiest way is we got an inside zone to the right, and let's just say it's a normal field under, 4 down, 2 backers. And technically we're going to be singling up to the front side backer, but we're going to say spots. They're going to be to the backside backer. Minnesota's a big fallback team, so that front side backer is going to fall back into the backside. So instead of Trevor
away from the way Blake's carrying the ball,
play. Yes,
in a safety's filling.
Yes, and then I would end up working up to the safety. Trevor would end up getting the front side backer. Backside backer is going to fall out of the box.
So really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just again, I just think this is so damn fascinating. You have to trust that what your eyes see as JJ starting his snap count are not what's going to happen. You see a front side backer and you're saying single spot, not single to linebacker. So you start your double team and you're blocking a piece of grass because you're trusting that linebacker's gone. Trevor, you're coming on a B backside, and you're now, instead of being to the backside linebacker like you might do versus Rutgers or whoever, you're being to a spot, which is the front side backer, and then the safety comes down, and then the tight end and the tackle have to see to that. You are literally saying, here's my and this isn't always the case. This is the crazy thing, is you're saying, I know what I see, but I this is what you prepare throughout the week, and you practice to be able to reserve the right to do that.
Yeah. And they even had an adjustment in the first half where they didn't fall back, and the safety was the extra hat right down in there. It was the free hat to make the tackle on Blake a couple of times. Which,
how do you deal with that?
Another thing we had to adjust to. Just different formation, getting the safeties out of the ball.
What's Blake like in that situation? Like when you guys come to the sidelines, it's like, okay, well, this is not what we planned. What's that like? What's the unit like?
I mean, I think we're cool, calm, collected, just normal. Like, hey, they didn't fall back there. Let's get on the whiteboard. Let's draw something up. Let's figure out a way to combat what they're doing to combat us. You know what I mean? They didn't fall back. Oh, well, let's get some gap scheme going or whatever it is.
Dude, you guys get me fired up just talking about this right now. I'm just getting absolutely juiced. It is. I've been on, dude. It's not what you guys make it seem so easy and like it's a given. It's just not always the case, though. It's just not always the case. Good teams, that's how it is, but it's just not always the case. What's it like then when it does work? What's it like when you got a deuce play side, Zach and Trevor? You're pulling around, you smoke the linebacker, and Max Bredesen comes and kicks out the same. What's that like when you just hear the pads crack and it goes, and then all of a sudden you hear the footsteps of the running back untouched, and you hear the crowd go nuts? What is that like as you get in your stance and you're like, this is the look we've seen, and then next thing you know, you see the back running free?
Yeah, it's the best feeling, especially like this whole week. So like they're a huge whist team. They like bringing whist. So we knew that would unlock our double teams, and we would all have to work
What's
up.
Wiss?
Will and safety of the boundary, blitzing.
Wiss is the will and the boundary safety. Makes sense. Yeah. Perfect. All right, just had to interject.
Yeah.
That.
So like we knew if they brought Wiss, we would have to unlock our double teams. Perfectly work up to it. So first play, right? First play of the game, they brought Wiss. First play of the game, they brought Wiss. They didn't show pressure, but we all gapped out and picked it up. And like we practiced the whole week. Like the defensive end would, I can't even think of the word right now. I'm blanking.
He would squeeze.
He would squeeze.
Surf down the line.
So I'm expecting him to surf. He doesn't surf, so I kick him out. And it's something that we practice during the week, and then it hits for 9 on the first play of the game. You're like, fuck yeah. Like, like that's what we practice in Indy, on Tuesday. So it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the same thing. I mean, we had a pen and pull. They brought corner cat. Trevor kicked him out, ended up on the will. Blake made the mic miss. Carson, second effort. I mean, he's running up and getting the safety block downfield. Blake had, I don't know, a 40-yard run right there. So, I mean, it's pretty sweet. We like big plays, short drives,
Of course.
Won't get super tired out there.
Of course. Yeah, exactly.
2-3 play drive. Awesome.
Oh, can't beat it. Can't beat it. Here's a fun fact for you guys. So, did you guys ever watch like the Queen's Gambit? Did you ever get into that show?
No,
I did not. Yes, that might mess up what you were gonna say. But
do you know? I mean, you obviously know chess, right? Like, either you guys play chess?
I watched Cornelius play chess.
Okay, I know it's a big game in the locker room. Donovan told me.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, checkers, it's a diagonal. Hey, you can move forward or diagonal, right? But chess, there's a bunch of different pieces. Here's the funny thing, and this will make sense. So why football is so great, to sum everything up that you guys just said, is because there's 11 on offense and 11 on defense. And there's so many variables. You practice for this, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it's a whiz and a will boundary safety. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just the will. Sometimes it's someone else. So there is, after like 3 moves in the game of chess. So once I go, you go, I go, you go, I go. So like 6 total moves, 3 moves each. There's more possible combinations in the game of chess than there's atoms in the universe. Effectively saying, yes, there is more. That because of the amount of variables in chess, the amount of pieces and the amount of opposing pieces, there's so many variables. That's the way I look at football. And that's why I find this conversation we just had so interesting, because you guys are getting in a stance and you have your preparation, your body of work throughout the week, but it's an educated guess at best. And sometimes it clicks just like you prepared for, and it's awesome. Sometimes it's the exact opposite of what you prepared for. Maybe it still clicks. Maybe you get a tackle for loss. Then it adds in the mental and the emotional element. And what I'm saying in a long-winded way is what this really reveals is something much more than just talent on your roster, and much more than just talent across your offensive line and your run game. It is this belief in one another and this trust in one another that you're going to do your job based on what we agreed upon, and I'll do mine, and so will the next guy. And if it doesn't work, it's okay, because we still will come back to that belief, and it has worked over time. Is that a fair statement? Is that something that this team really kind of believes in themselves at a level that most teams don't experience?
I'd say it's spot on. I mean, our whole thing is, you do your 111 and everyone executes, and then we got special playmakers that have the ball in their hands, and if we do our job, they do their job, something special usually happens.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the identity and the mentality of our team. You got a locker room, and coaches and staff and personnel that all trust each other and are on the same, track to, on this mission. Um, and when you got everybody in Schembechler Hall all working together on the same thing, you're building trust, you're building relationships, you're building a brotherhood, and you're building a team that's super dangerous. And when you got everybody, working together, all calm and collective, and everything's clicking, I mean, we're as dangerous as it's going to get.
You guys got me fired up, man. That was like a freaking. I felt like I was a general, like leading the troops into war. There, I was just fired up, man. I was in studio last night, so we were watching the game, and I was just like, look at this, like look at bang, double team, bang, look at him pull around and smoke somebody. It was awesome. As we wind it down, man, I know this is you guys Sunday, and thanks so much for joining us. And to our viewers, please reach out to these guys on social media, tag them and say thank you for you guys' efforts. That's community, right? What's Sharon Moore like? He gets credit, but like maybe not enough, right? What's Coach Moore like in terms of being the leader of this offensive line group you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, I love him. I mean, he's always got something to say. He's always got something to fire us up. I mean, hell of a coach, hell of a person. I mean, just all around great OC, so creative, able to get us in the right play calls. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about him at all. I mean, you should, if you haven't met him, you should want to, because I mean, he's a great dude.
Yeah, I feel like Coach Herbert like gets a lot of the credit for the mentality changing of our team, but with Coach Moore, he did that as well. Ever since he got the job, he changed the mentality of the offensive line room, and ever since he's gotten here, he started recruiting me when he was at Central Michigan, and he came here as tight ends coach, started recruiting me, and we've kind of just been on like the same journey together. I mean, he started as tight end coach here, offensive line coach, co-OC, OC. So like us on this journey together, and us, having the same mentality and being hungry together, and wanting to win this national championship. I mean, it's such a cool thing to see, and he brings a brotherhood to our room too. Like he's just like one of us. Like, and he lets us be ourselves. He lets us put input in. He knows how much we love football and how much we want this offense to be successful. So he allows us to play to our strengths too, which is really huge. And the big thing with him, he doesn't overcoach. Like with technique and everything, he lets us be the players who we are, and he lets us do what we're comfortable with, which is a really big thing.
The mentality is such a big piece, man. And like, you mentioned Herbert, you mentioned Coach Moore. There's many names we could mention here, but the mentality is certainly evident. I mean, the way you guys take the field, the way you break the huddle, the mentality is next level. It's a foundational thing that, certainly matters. It becomes more clear when you go on the road too, right? Like mentality matters that much more. I just want to leave as we wrap this up with some lighter questions, because this is always a big piece of it. What's it like to the diet and maintaining calories, maintaining weight? Can you guys give us a behind the scenes? What's that like? How do you guys keep your weight up throughout the season?
I mean, I'd really just be eating whatever I want, really. But like, I mean, nothing crazy. But I mean, I'm definitely not like eating salad and grilled chicken only, like on a super strict diet. But
That sounds good. Is it as good? Because I always had to eat extra to keep my weight up as a tight end, and it wasn't always enjoyable to be completely honest with you, But is it enjoyable?
Yeah, like you just said, like, so usually during the week, like, let me describe this. So like during the week, I get to like Sunday or like after the game, I'm probably weighing like 305, 308. And I want to be at like I know that I have to like eat a lot on Sunday to maintain this weight. So Sunday is my day to just be a fat guy. And I like Sunday's my day. I thrive on Sundays. I eat probably like 10,000 calories, I swear to God. And then during the week, I just like, I know I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to be at like 305, 308 for the game. And then on Sunday is my day to get back up to 320. So that's kind of like how I do it. I don't know if it's healthy, but
what was breakfast today then? Because we're recording this on a Sunday afternoon. It's about 4:15 Eastern right now, right? What was breakfast today?
Woke up, slammed 2 waters, got the shem, and I had like 4 biscuits and gravy.
The biscuits and gravy
with some Texas pizza on top, and sprinkle some bacon too.
So where's the rest of the calories come from? Is it what's dinner tonight?
I got DoorDash coming up soon, so once I leave here, I'm gonna probably DoorDash probably like 30 chicken wings or something.
That's not NIL though, right?
No.
Okay. That's all right. Hey, that's an opportunity, DoorDash. You missed out. All right, last question as we wrap up here, because there was an NIL opportunity and it hits on the mentality that you guys said was the. So you guys partnered with Wolverine boots, and there was guys I played with, I believe, that are still working with Wolverine boots. I even know you got the work shirts too. Like Coach Harbaugh gives you guys the work shirts and embraces this like workers mentality. Wolverine boots. Can you fill me in as if I had no idea. What is Wolverine's boots, the brand, and what's it like? I mean, you guys are handsome offensive linemen. What's it like to be an official model in this place too?
So yeah, we start. I think there was like 12 of us that did it. The photo shoot and everything over summer. I mean, I think their clothing and their boots are as well. Are high quality. I love them. I feel like, their clothing's super comfortable. It fits perfect. As a big guy, not everything always fits perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put on the Wolverine gear, it fits. It's like the perfect mix of, so a big guy, if you get like a 3X, sometimes it's an enormous 3X that makes you look fat. But with Wolverine, you throw on the 3X, it's a trim, you feel svelte. I love it.
It's a slimming.
Yeah.
A slimming 3X. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We
got boxes here.
Right here. See this?
We got here.
We got a little Wolverine times Michigan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. We got our number on the box. We got nice knitted hat.
You can see me and Trevor as models.
Man, come on. You got look at that.
Oh, let me see here. But yeah, we got some underwear, some undershirt, and we got a nice little flannel.
The good thing is for like NIL deals, their budget is low because some other companies would have to pay like a photo editor. But like I said, you guys are so handsome. That is you just raw and natural. Good lighting.
Right. That's all it is right there.
I noticed the side turn too.
Got to get the good angles,
Get the angles, exactly.
Hey, people, the beard helps a lot too. The beard makes you slim.
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't realize it.
No doubt.
I know.
Beard's a game changer for sure.
Listen, man, we talk about like skill positions are sexy, and I love talking to you. You guys have been awesome today. This is awesome. Please, guys, if you're listening, reach out to the fellas. Let them know you love some O-line talk. Let them know you like it when it gets nasty. So we see you guys putting them on their back out there, all right? Fellas, Trev, Zach, thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for joining us. You guys at home, thanks for tuning in. Know it's your Sunday. You got some DoorDash to get to, so go ahead and place that order and keep cruising, man. It's been a pleasure to watch you guys. It's been a pleasure to talk to you guys. Honestly, I love the field. Of course, I love the field as an alum and a former player. What you guys are doing with the on-field success is phenomenal. Who you are as people, it's just explodes all of that joy, man. It's an exponential growth. So just thank you guys for being who you are. It's awesome to talk to you, awesome to connect every time. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. And hey, like I said, reach out, tune in. Last thing, championscircleufm.com. If this moved you, if you like the offensive line, please log into championscircleufm.com and keep tuning into this podcast. So guys, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.